Welcome to Mountain Mule Media. Mountain Mule Media is a production of Mountain Mule Transportation. This podcast was created to connect locals and travelers to businesses in Southwest Montana. Through these conversations, we can better get to know business owners, what they do, and make the most of our time and experience here in Montana. These episodes will feature 10 to 30-minute interviews about businesses that help support our local community and our visiting community. To help support this podcast, you can follow it on YouTube and Spotify, and you can use Mountain Mule Transportation for any of your transportation needs. We will be releasing episodes twice a week regularly. If you or someone you know is interested in being on Mountain Mule Media, please reach out directly. Thank you for your support. Bailey Evans, thanks for being here.
You're so welcome.
What can you tell me about your business, Ekam Yoga?
Thank you. So I own Ekam Yoga. It's great to be with you, not in the yoga studio. And I started it, it'll be 8 years in May. And I started it because I wanted to have a studio in Bozeman that welcomed everyone and had a really high caliber of teachers. Not that there weren't good studios here previously, but I care a lot about making sure that everyone can practice for 60 years. And that's not as common in teaching as you would want. So I opened my own.
Say more about that.
About the teaching?
Yeah.
So I got into yoga because I have a fully fused thoracic spine and I needed to figure out how to manage that and pain management and then keep moving and lifting and running and doing all the things I like doing. And the only thing that really helped was yoga. So I did a pretty hard deep dive into it. Essentially got what would be akin to a PhD in yoga if I'd gone to traditional schooling. And I just think there's so much goodness that can come out of it. There's a lot of bad yoga teachers, I want to be really clear. But if they take it seriously and they care a lot about anatomy, it's pretty phenomenal.
What about the studio? What can you tell me about it?
The studio, I love, obviously I built it, but I took over the lease when I was, I think 26 or 27, and then spent almost a year designing and building it. So imagine like a dingbat 27-year-old who's taking on this huge commercial renovation. But I really tried to think through like what feels like a really clean space, a welcoming space that's also really nice. Like the part of my pro forma, like my business plan, was the fact that I had showers and towel service in the showers and like everything was stocked. Because how are you supposed to take a 6:30 a.m. class or like a noon class unless you can shower and get ready for work right after? So the space itself is like the space of my making, which seems so wild. I practiced this morning with Yetta and it was glorious. But I did have this nice moment where I was like, I still love this space, which is, it's aged well.
Yeah, I can speak to the amenities, though. It's very nice.
Thank you.
Having a shower and towels.
Critical.
And mats.
Yep.
Like I'm there with nothing.
Yeah, that's the idea.
But I can leave and go if I've got a meeting downtown or I'm going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not running in circles. I'm not running home to shower.
Totally. That was the idea, was you just have to bring your clothes. We have everything else you could possibly need, and it's no extra charge. Because it drives me crazy when you go to a yoga class, and I carry cash because I'm a weirdo, and I'll have like $15 in my pants or like whatever it is, and then you get there, I'll be like, oh, mats are $2. I'm like, well, I didn't bring an extra $2. All I have is the cash in my pants. Let me just have the mat. So it's all included.
Yeah, it's like when, no offense to a lot of people here, that add credit card fees on too.
For sure.
It's just an added fee you don't expect.
Okay, well, if everyone would just pay cash, it'd be glorious. Let's go back to cash.
So if somebody's local here, how can they take advantage? What do they do? What do your memberships look like?
Okay, so for a local, the way I try to think about it is everyone goes really hard in the paint here outside. Let us just go break whatever you want. Go play as hard as you want. Let us fix it. Just get you back to baseline. I think a lot of people think it's like a either or, and I'm always of the kind of camp that you should go do whatever you want to and let your yoga practice support that, not you have to do less of this thing you love doing in order to do yoga. A lot of traditional yogis are like, you can only do yoga. I don't ascribe to that. But I would say, ideally, if you're one of the people who's taking advantage of all of the things outdoors and it's super intense, we have so much yin and restorative and mobility practices. You should do those. If you're someone who's wanting to get like more of a workout, we have so many great power teachers. I try really hard to run the gamut. The memberships are, you can do monthly unlimiteds, which if you're going to take 2 classes or more per week, it then drops your drop-in price, depending on how many there are, but like roughly to $13 versus a pack, like a 10-pack, 6-pack, whatever. It lasts a year. And so if you're going to take 1 class per week or so, you want to get a class pack.
Yeah, I love the restorative mobility class.
It's so good.
Yeah. I just go there to stretch and relax, if I'm being honest.
Yetta whooped my butt this morning, and I was like, this isn't what, Yetta's amazing. But that wasn't what I wanted. Same thing. I just needed to stretch. It was so glorious.
And if you're traveling here from out of town, I mean, same thing, just drop in.
Yeah, drop-ins are great, but the best thing you can do when you're traveling out of town, we do 2 weeks unlimited for $29. So if you're here for like 4 days, you should get that because then you can take literally 10 classes for $29.
Yeah, that's a deal.
I know. Well, drop-ins are $20, which we understand is expensive. And so I don't think I've ever said this out loud in a public forum, but if you can't afford us, it's not a good enough reason for me. You can always just contact me directly and we will figure out whatever you need to do in order to get your practice in. If you don't like yoga, no problem. You don't need to come. But if you can't afford it, that's just not okay to me.
Cool.
Yeah.
What else do you guys do? Is there anything else you do that's outside of?
Yeah, we do tons of workshops, which I love so much. I like an in-depth teaching experience. And then I do teacher training and I fly in 2 separate teachers for it. So it's Caitlin, Kelly, and I, everyone's secret favorite at the studio. And then David Wise, who used to teach for me, but he's in Denver. He's a PT. And then Jennifer Smith, who's a master Ashtanga teacher in Atlanta. And so we all do teacher training and we certify 200-hour teachers. We're accredited like the whole 9. It's pretty rad.
And you do that a couple times a year?
Once a year.
Once a year.
Don't.
I don't know how long it takes.
So it's 1 weekend a month for 8 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really intense. Well, you have to get to the 200 hours, but like we break the weekends up into basically like thematically. I don't think I could pull off 2 per year. When I first started, I was like, I could definitely do 1 here and 1 somewhere else. There's literally no way.
It's 200 hours of training.
Yeah. And that's like the entry point. That's what's wild. Like when you see a teacher and they're like, oh, I'm a 200 hour. That was step 1. There's no lower training than that, not to minimize it. But it's pretty sweet or terrible, depending on what your outlook is, that in yoga, the barest minimum is 200 hours of certification. I think CrossFit coaches can do it in like 48 hours.
That's a lot of training.
It's a lot of training. It's a lot of training.
What else? Is there anything else anyone should know about with Ekam Yoga? You guys are downtown on Main Street.
We're downtown on Main Street. We're above Main Street over Easy. Shout out the veggie omelet's delicious. That if you're afraid to do yoga, you don't need to be. I myself have run into this in other studios where like I'll walk in and the front desk person isn't very warm. And I think that's terrible. It's part of why I wanted to open a studio because I hate that feeling. And so no matter what your practice is, who you are, all the things, we would love to have you.
And if you're a bro, depending on the class, there can be plenty of bros there.
Yeah, you're a bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if
always bros with you. Yeah.
If you work out hard and you need to recover.
Yeah, those are, I mean, honestly, for me, those are my ideal clients. They're like the people who honestly just want to feel better after class. They don't necessarily want to do these like big fancy things. I look at it holistically. Like, did you walk off of your mat and feel better than when you got on your mat than I did my job? Which I think is why there tends to be more dudes in my classes, honestly. Because I'm not here to like ruin your life and wipe the floor with you. I'm here to just like make your low back feel a little bit better.
And you do private stuff too, right?
Yes, those are my favorites.
Okay.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that or am allowed to say that. I
love
doing.
Did.
I know it's out there. I love doing privates because a lot of times, I tend to work with people who either are compelling because they have like some type of really serious injury or there's something that we can really improve upon. That's pretty satisfying as a teacher someone to start with me and then be like, these are the things I'm dealing with. Normally I try to give them a reasonable timeline of like, I can help within, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever the reasonable timeline is. Obviously I'll work with you for as long as you want, but that it's so satisfying to like take someone who's in pain or discomfort or working with something that they haven't been able to break through and then be able to break through. I also tend to work in conjunction with like whoever else they're working with, like their PTs or their chiropractors or their massage therapists. I want it to be a team effort. And so a lot of times if it's like a really serious injury, which I've dealt with a lot, I make sure that there's a team that's supporting them so that we're able to approach it kind of from all the angles and we're all in contact with each other to make a little plan.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So if anyone wants to find out more about that, they go to your website.
Yeah.
Find your email.
Yep. I right now have like 2 hours a week open, so not a ton, but that ebbs and flows. Like I'm saying, I try not to be like, you're going to be stuck with me forever. I want to be like, you're going to have me for 3 months and then you can graduate or not. It's up to you. So I tend to get to kind of change out, which is also interesting for me. Like I've worked with some injuries that I had never even heard of prior to working with them, like compartment syndrome. I didn't know what that was. And so then I get to like study under PTs, doctors, learn a bunch, and then help them and move on. It's pretty sweet.
Sounds cool.
I like to learn.
Is there anything you guys are doing that anyone can help with for the business or in general, teachers?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, is there like you guys part of any other organizations or anything else?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're partnered with BridgerCare and Thrive GVLT, and I'm working on a couple other partnerships. We try to be pretty involved within our community, especially aspects of the community that are giving back. So like we don't have a name yet because I'm trying to figure out I love puns, what the pun name is going to be. But like we're partnering with BridgerCare to start doing a menopause series, like perimenopause and menopause, because women aren't talking about it. And I'm 35, and I was of the opinion that like, I'm going to be able to skip it because I'm good at health stuff. I don't know. But the more I learned about it, the more I was like, oh my God, this is coming for me, just like every other woman, and we should be able to talk about it. And then Thrive, we do these really great like kids empowerment classes with Thrive in conjunction with them. And GVLT is a newer partnership. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but I'm pretty amped.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything anyone can do to like support your business other than show up and do yoga?
Just show up and do yoga. Talk about us. Recommend us to a friend. That's like honestly one of the best ways. I'm more likely to try something if someone whose opinion I actually care about and trust tells me about it.
I totally agree. That's sort of that's why I'm doing this.
I love that.
To talk to businesses. I almost forgot the name. Where's the name of Ekam come from?
Okay, so you can have two answers for it. So Ekam is the number one in the Sanskrit numerical. So if you want to be like kind of cheeky, you can be like, oh, we're the number one. But really what it is I practice Ashtanga, which is one of the oldest lineages. And the first breath is Ekam inhale. And you're standing with your like full standing. Hands are by your hips. And the inhale, you reach your arms overhead. Eye gaze follows your hands. And it was my favorite part of the practice, of the Ashtanga practice. It was kind of that decompression of day-to-day life versus my practice. So I named the business after my favorite part of the practice for the days where I really didn't like running a business, to remind me why I did it.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Perfect. You want to end there?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Billy.